Welcome to Rubbin Minds. My name is Isabella Adeliji. We begin the show looking at some of the headlines that rocked the past week, from the attack on ADC supporters to the increase in the cost of CNG to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu going on vacation at a time of harsh economic realities, and of course the incessant menace that has become the tanker driver accidents that have plagued our highways. Joining me for this conversation is Dapo Adaramewa, a governance consultant. Welcome to Rubbin Minds.
Thank you for having me. It's good to see you again.
A pleasure. Thank you for honoring our invitation. So we'll start with the road to 2027. Now, ADC has been the party that everybody is looking to as the very strong opposition, almost like a third challenger. But there's been an attack on their supporters, and this raises the question of security during the elections. What do you make of this?
Well, considering how far we are from the actual elections, I think all it goes to show is the desperation that's in the air right now. And that's just a function of the fact that everybody can recognize that the people are not content with this government. The people are hungry, the people are suffering. I think Nigerians have been through more hardship somehow in the last 2 years than in the past 10 years, you know. And so people are frustrated, and it seems like they're panicking. They're panicking, and they're resorting to unruly means to try and subvert the opposition. But in truth, as we saw yesterday, it won't work. It cannot work.
Do you think the security agencies are doing enough to make people feel at peace, whatever decision they decide to make at the polls, whether it's for the ruling party or the opposition party?
The opposition parties are committed to ensuring security for its voters. That's a given. Now, there are members of the security forces, let's just be general, right, that have been compromised and are going to work with specific parties and are going to try and subvert democracy. But I believe there are also elements within the security forces that recognize that this democracy of a thing affects every one of us. I don't know of any security force member who was exempt from the inflation. I don't know of any security force member who has not felt the pain that we have all been through in the last 2 years. So the appeal is to them directly, that uphold what you know is right, because no matter what they give you now, if you suffer for another 4 years, it won't help you, and it certainly is not helping your children. So there's a strong move among some elements of the police force and other security agencies to actually defend the Constitution. I mean, from what happened on yesterday, we can actually see that the candidate for Lagos State, Mr. Gbadebo Rhodes-Viable, actually showed up. He had some policemen with him, and they were able to calm down the arena. They were able to disperse the crowd and secure the area for the people who were there. And it's interesting because on the other side, when the thugs arrived, they also arrived with some members of the security forces as well. So that is what we are seeing. That is, and it's a very anarchic place to be, and it's a very dangerous thing. So that is why I would encourage the government at hand to do what is right and respect the will of the people. If the Nigerian people want to speak, let them speak. And we're so far from the election, I don't understand. It just shows how weak they really are.
That desperation that is showing its face in 2025. When you look at INEC, who's supposed to be the umpire, the ombudsman, where do you see them coming in to allay the fears of Nigerians before they go to the polls? Because if we're seeing this in 2025, it begs the question, what should we expect in 2026 and 2027?
Yeah, you're very right. What we should be asking ourselves what to expect, because considering this wasn't an election, this was just a gathering of the opposition party for them to react like this. Now, in the area of INEC, I always say that I don't believe that our deliverance as Nigerian people is going to come from INEC or come from anybody else apart from ourselves. Now, it is possible to rig elections, right? But there are elections that you cannot rig. And what I mean by that is, in the last election we had, I think, about less than 40% voter turnout. If 80% of people with PVCs show up at their polling unit, there's no way they can rig it. There's not enough security forces to help them defend that rigging. Because if the Nigerian people come out in mass, they go to their polling unit and they stay till the votes are counted and transmitted. Nobody can rig it. And that's what we're going for in this next election. We're driving the people, encourage them to know that their fate is in their hands. When we come out as a people and speak in one voice, there is no amount of intimidation or rigging that can push us out.
Would you go to the polls knowing that your life might be in danger, the life of your family members, your friends, your loved ones? We saw what happened in Lagos State where, for example, I'm Isabella Ebonua Chukwugosimuzo, but it's very easy to say, oh, yeah, Omo Igbo, we're not going to let you vote because this is Yoruba. So when you have all of that, how safe are the polls? And will you actually step out if you know you might not make it alive?
I think it is part of the agenda that certain individuals are trying to push. Because the less people that, you saw what happened in Rivers State, the less people that turn out to vote out of fear, the easier it is again to rig, right? There is nothing to be afraid. The opposition parties are coming together to speak as one united voice. And we will do everything within our power, working with the security agents to ensure that the polls are perfectly safe. And I don't think the government can stand up and say it's going to oppose to that, right? We're all working together to keep the polls safe, and the people must come out. We will come out. I have absolutely no fear. I will be at my polling unit. I will vote, and I will sit there with my chair and wait till my votes are counted. And every Nigerian should do that. Let's bear in mind that we are over 200 million people who want a good life. We cannot have less than 500 people somewhere tell us they are so high-handed, they will tell us what we would do. It's impossible. It is just impossible. So the Nigerian people should come out in mass and show anybody and everybody that this is a democratic country. We will not be intimidated. We will not be deceived. We will come out and do what is right. Vote for whatever party you want. Vote for the ADC, vote for the APC, vote for whoever you want. But we must all have that right to come out, vote, and have our votes counted.
You speak with so much optimism and passion, and I wonder for those who are watching if they actually believe that their votes count, because like you've said, rigging does happen. And if people are convinced that their vote does not count, maybe because their candidates doesn't have it in them to win because they're from an opposition party that is not well known, or whether they feel like, oh, even if I vote, they're still going to change the results, then why bother? Why make the effort?
You see, the fact that people believe that is the problem. And this, I find this to be because I've been around and I am supporting the opposition parties, and I've seen that there's a lot of people around that really believe in, for example, His Excellency Peter Gregory Obi. They believe in him, but they never leave their house because everybody has bought into this notion that it doesn't matter. It's the biggest lie ever told. There's a quote, I don't know if you've ever heard, that says, the biggest lie the devil ever told was convincing the world he doesn't exist, right? Now, the biggest lie politicians have told us, and they have told us for years and years, is that our votes don't count. Now, let me ask you for something. If our votes don't count, why are they buying it?
So votes do count.
Yes.
But in the entirety of it, does every single vote count? There are some polling units that there are no reports of violence. People stay, they count the votes, and what transpired there is what is reported. And there are some polling units that are marred with violence that we have barely anything to show for. So I believe that that fear is founded.
The fear is founded, but people should not underestimate, and I don't think Nigerians should forget where we have come from as a people, right? We fought against colonial masters. We fought against the military. See, 20 thugs are not enough to overpower us as a people. We saw it in the last election in 2023, where those thugs were beaten out of certain polling units. It is within our right to defend ourselves as Nigerians, and Nigerians need to go to the polls ready and willing, if the security forces will not step up, to protect themselves, because that is what is required in a democracy. Because I ask this question, if we all give up, what then? Can we all be refugees? Will Canada open its door to all of us? What then? What future are we going to give our children? Our forefathers gave us independence. They gave us freedom from military dictatorship. What are we going to leave our own children? Are we going to leave them a shattered democracy because we said we were afraid? I don't believe that that's what... Nigerians are resilient. We are the toughest people I've traveled around the world, and I know Nigerians are resilient, and I know we are not intimidated. That's why when we move to Canada, we take over, right? We won't be intimidated by anybody come 2027 because we have seen enough shiggy.
So your charge to Nigerians is to vote, protect their vote, and protect themselves.
And protect themselves.
I'd like us to move to the incessant tanker accidents across Nigeria. We've seen what has happened in the past, and it's almost becoming like a regular headline. People die, accidents, the highways, they're not safe. And a lot of people are abandoning the roads, those who can afford for air travel, which they feel is safer, or trains. Why does this keep happening? And where does, whose table does this fall on when it comes to taking responsibility?
I've had personal experience with that. Luckily, I wasn't involved in the accident, but we were driving. It was on our way to Ajah, and I saw this driver, this tanker driver, moving a certain way. And I told the person that was driving, I was like, please, can you move 2 lanes over? I have a feeling that there's something wrong with this man. And within 15 minutes, he had crashed somebody off the road, right? Now, there's a lot of drink driving in Nigeria, and then there's also a lack of infrastructure. In the developed world, we don't really see as many tankers driving through residential areas and built-up areas, right? That's because the infrastructure is sufficient. We spent billions of Chinese funds building railways. Can't they transport things around the states? So in terms of the long-term solution, definitely there needs to be more investment in infrastructure that can only come around when there's the right government. But beyond that, we need our, I think it's FRSC that is in charge of making sure these cars are okay, or I'm not too sure which agency is in charge.
Sometimes it's FRSC that's stopping you, sometimes it's VIO, sometimes it's LASMA, sometimes it's the police. So there are enough officials on the road.
There are enough of the road. But the issue is that they are not concerned with public safety. For the most part, a lot of them are, in fact, I was stopped earlier today, to greet me and say, Chairman, anything for the boys. Do you understand? They are not concerned with public. He didn't even bother to ask for my license. I could have been an unlicensed driver, but that was not his priority. His priority was to see if I can give him something. But again, it still ties down to the conditions. These people are they're not from Mars. They are our family. Policemen are our brothers, they are our sisters. All these officials, they are from families just like us. But the conditions in which they are living as a result of abandonment by their own government is what is causing them and driving many of them to act the way they do.
We can't talk about this issue of tanker drivers without speaking about the elephant in the room. We've seen Dangote trucks involved in accidents leading to fatalities, injuries. And it begs the question that a company as big as Dangote, headed by the richest man in Africa, what's the HR policy like in ensuring that the right drivers make it to the roads? If the officials in charge do not do their duties and they are more interested in Happy Sunday, anything for the boys, then why can't we get it right from ensuring only the right people have access to those vehicles?
I wouldn't single out the Dangote company, for example, just because of the statistics, right? If you have a company that has over 10,000 cars on the road, statistically, somebody, no matter how perfect your HR system is, will have an accident, and it will happen, right? The pressure can never really be on private institutions to provide what the government should, right? And every institution should try their best, but mistakes do happen. But what we need to ask ourselves is, how quick was the response time when that Dangote truck hit somebody? How quickly was that person in the hospital? Was that hospital funded? Did that hospital have the life-saving equipment that was required? In my personal life, I have seen it happen. I have seen people rush to the hospital and die as a result of the fact that there is no equipment in the hospitals. We went to 4 hospitals a particular day, and there was not one single bed in this Lagos state. Weeks later, the person passed away, unfortunately.
But still, private organizations do have to take responsibilities because 100%. It's their drivers that are involved in these accidents. So you mentioned drink driving. So what are these organizations doing to also ensure that, okay, you're the right person for the job and you're in the right state? Perhaps there are issues on overworking, many hours. What policies can they put so that they're not held liable? Because the fact is, as big as they are, they will always be the target That's just what will happen. So they do have to step up.
100%. They could do things like drug tests. They could do alcohol consumption tests to ensure that these drivers are not inebriated at the time of. And like you said, ensuring that they have licenses. I think I remember just seeing a video on Twitter of an alleged driver for one of the big companies that was stopped, and he said he left his driver's license in Kogi or something funny like that. It's strange, but it does happen, unfortunately.
I would like us to move to President Tinubu's vacation. I don't know about you, but it came as a surprise, especially in light of everything happening at home. We've seen increase in CNG prices, which was supposed to replace the already expensive PMS. And then it seems like the house is on fire. The economy, people are suffering, despite what the international world is saying in terms of statistics. And then the president decides to go on vacation. Is this a timely decision, and what does this say about standing with the people?
I think there's a great distance between our leaders and us as the people, and that's why you see the convoy of any senator, any, 6, 7 cars. They'll even have ambulance inside. They'll have everything they need. The distance between them and us is so wide that from their perspective, they don't understand what the people are going through. And that's why somebody can wake up in the middle of everything that's going on in Nigeria and say, I need 10 days to relax. We, the people, are not getting that, right? So it's a very painful thing, and it speaks to I would say a lack of empathy on the side of our leaders, and that's why we must now look around us and try and pick among ourselves leaders that have shown empathy and have integrity that we can vote in the next election.
This is something that the opposition party and members of the opposition have jumped on, that, the president is on vacation, the country, the economy is in shambles, and some people are saying, well, this is just cheap political points. When you get there, won't you go on vacation? Don't you deserve to rest? He has able people. The vice president is still there. The ministers, the lawmakers, they're all still there.
Well, I can certainly understand that argument, but we all have leaders in our life. Forget the president, right? We all have leaders in our life. And we know what endears us to the people around us that we call leaders, right? If your pastor comes and tells you, okay, everybody fast for a new hall for the church, and you see him eating rice after the service, you look at him and say, pastor, I've been fasting 3 weeks now. So we know what good leadership is. So the opposition can run to his defense, they can play politics with it, but the Nigerian people were not to be fooled.
I don't know if you can see the footage there of the governors who have left their states to bid the president goodbye, or I believe, doesn't that worry you? People are leaving their duty post to see Mr. President.
Governor of one of the eastern states.
Doesn't that, I mean, there are concerns about the economy. Governors have their work cut out for them, but they're there bidding the president goodbye as he goes on vacation. I'm not sure I've seen this kind of thing in any country. I'm not sure. So, I mean, I'm a bit startled, to be honest, and I'm just wondering, what's the point of this, and what message are we sending to the people?
Yeah, well, it's very clear that this message is not for the people, right? This is a circus. This is drama, right? Because I believe there's the governor from one of the eastern states. He must have flown 2 hours to be there to do like this. Do you understand? He definitely didn't fly public. Even if he flew public, return flights about 400,000. So he would have flown private. He would have given up hours that he could have dedicated to his people. We have other governors who should be leading their states while the people are going through. They came all the way there to stand and do like this. Please text him. WhatsApp him, bye-bye, sir. And sit down and focus on what you're called to do. It is a ridiculous circus. And it goes to show how, no matter how much the people are complaining, it seems like this government doesn't get what people are going through. This is not the time for this. And you have the gall to put it right there in front of all of us and, oh, this is a huge ceremony. And the shocking part is, if you're not careful, some of them will fly to Paris or wherever he's going and go and wait for him there so that they can welcome him.
And all
come
of
back
this
to
is
Nigeria.
on taxpayers' money,
Oh, yes,
and we have issues with infrastructure, we have issues with the economy, with security, with health, with education, and some governors think it's right to go personally to say goodbye. Like you said, that could be done in a text message and
a WhatsApp message to save money. Let's not waste 6 naira on text.
Yeah, I'll move very quickly as we're almost out of time to the surge in CNG prices, because this has been such a hotly debated topic of go switch your tank from PMS to CNG because it's cheaper, and now what is supposedly cheaper has gone up. And again, it begs the question, how much can the Nigerian people truly take? How much before they reach their breaking point?
You know, I have found myself asking that question many times, and it speaks to the strength again of the Nigerian people. But it's about time we direct our strength to something else. There's nobility in suffering, but please, we have suffered enough. So let's do something about it. Let's go out there and vote and change this government, because it's out of the frying pan into the fire, right? We saw fuel prices increase. Do you know how much people paid to convert their cars to CNG? Millions. Only to find out that CNG is going to go up again. Why?
You know, the rush, the encouragement, almost like false hope that once you have this done, you don't have to spend so much, and yet that is increased. And Nigerians just have so many questions, because I haven't changed my car, but if I had, I'd be greatly disappointed and maybe be asking how to change it back, because we don't know where this price is going to. So I don't know, what are the alternatives? I mean, are we going to start thinking of riding donkeys,
horses,
walking?
maybe, jogging around town? You know, you see, the thing is, there are no alternatives. I feel the Nigerian people are so strong that we keep turning the other cheek, turning, and we've run out of cheeks to turn. So it's about time people just say, okay, you know what, and it's not even about waiting to the next election, no. Because that's another mistake.
So we must make our voices count. And I believe conversations like this are so important, where Nigerians come and speak their minds, and hopefully they're watching. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you so much, Dapo Adaramewa, for your contributions.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.